good hands. Fast forward to the next part of the program. We are going to talk about developing an AI mindset. And you heard this before, not only today, but also the past 20 years, that we live in a world with an incredibly fast rate of change. According to Dave Wright, our next speaker, CIO of ServiceNow, AI will change the things that change things. Wow, he speaks
poetic.
on a... Yeah, that's poetic, it is. He speaks about a digital butterfly effect. And of course that means that C-level executives in the room here today must be prepared for this. I'm really curious about this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Dave Wright.
During his keynote today, he will talk about the fact that we are about to face a level of intelligence beyond what we have ever experienced, and that the way we achieve this true transformation is not about having a digital mindset, but an AI mindset. Right?
Thank you.
Good luck.
Morning. Not going for instruction then, yeah? So when we saw the first video that opened this, one of the things we talked about was revolutions. And the interesting thing about revolutions is the thing that they initially cause doesn't necessarily become the thing that they're known for. So when we went through the agricultural revolution, yes, we moved from hunting to farming, but we also ended up changing how we lived. We ended up having villages and cities, we built roads, we invented concepts like money. When we went through the industrial revolution, we started to see the emergence of automation, but we also saw mass production. We saw the creation of engines, steam engines, internal combustion engines, the discovery of electricity, the implementation of telephony systems. All these things changed from this one revolution. When we went through the digital revolution, we changed the way that we worked. We changed the way that we consume data. We changed the way that we consume goods. We changed the way that we socially interact. And now we're right at the point of having this AI revolution. But if we're going to optimize what we do from an AI revolution, then we need to adopt an AI mindset. Just doing what we did before and using artificial intelligence for it won't really give us the savings that we wanted, won't really give us the value that we needed. I was with a CIO from a bank in Australia the other week, and we were doing a presentation on stage, and we were talking about people implementing AI, and he said one of the things he didn't want to do was have every employee save half an hour a day. And I said, why not? And he said, because then the dogs win. And I said, what do you mean the dogs win? He said, I'll spend all this money on AI, and all that will happen is your dogs will get walked for an extra half an hour every day. So if you start to think about all the different challenges that we have going on at the moment, this is where we get into starting to think a little bit differently. So the rate of change has never been faster than it is before. This is the fastest we've ever had to change things, but it's also as slow as it's ever going to be. It's never going to be this slow again. Managing tasks the way we do now when we're given a task to complete, that will change. You will start to look at systems that actually manage the intelligence that's performing the task. And AI will change all the other technologies that we use as well. The way we do things like process mining, the way we design conversational bots, the way we potentially design API interfaces. You'll have AI designing UI, designing UX. All these things are going to change. And fundamentally, an AI strategy is not about AI. An AI strategy is about what you're going to do with the gift that you get back from AI. What are you going to do with the time that's given back to the company? How are you going to use that to drive organizational change and use that to drive business transformation? Because this is your opportunity to do all the things that you couldn't do before. In the past 100 years, we've invented all these technologies, and we invented all these technologies without the use of artificial intelligence. And all these technologies were initially rejected as well. Everyone had problems with them. People thought if we took antibiotics, we'd become not immune to anything at all, and we'd all start dying of minor diseases. You had Thomas Watson saying, when they first introduced the computer, we only need 5 computers. There's potentially use for 5 computers. He might have just used the wrong word. Perhaps he should have said 5 clouds, and we would have gone for that, but 5 computers obviously wasn't right. But the interesting thing about all this technology and how it was created was if you look at the human capacity to think, you look at all these geniuses that have existed over millennia, whether it's Aristotle or Socrates or Plato or Curie, Einstein, Jobs, Johnson. All these different people have had a finite capacity to think. And I was speaking to a friend, Mo Gadot, who used to run Google X. Last year we were having this conversation, and we were talking about the rate of AI growth. So assuming everyone in this room is of average or above average intelligence, I'm going to say most of us in the room have got an IQ of around 120 to 130. Einstein was supposed to have an IQ of 175, so there's 40 points on average that separates us from Einstein. Now, if you look at the difference between GPT-2 and GPT-4, GPT-4 has an IQ of around 120. And that's a 10x improvement in performance on what it was doing before. So now, for the first time ever, we have this issue where we're going to encounter an intelligence that surpasses what we've ever seen from human beings. If that rate of acceleration is the same between GPT-4 and GPT-6, all of a sudden we're faced with an entity that could have an IQ of 1,350. Now, if there's only 40 points between me and Einstein, what happens when there's 1,200 points between me and an AI that's making intelligence? So I have to think about what is the world going to be like when we're in a place where we can't possibly perceive what's being perceived by artificial intelligence. And the challenge is, when we look at how we deploy AI at the moment, is we operate in a digital mindset. So what we do is we try and do what we could do before, and all we're trying to do is reduce that timeline. So we want to do summarizations of things. We want to create knowledge articles around things. We want to create content out there. But what you really have to think about is adopting an AI mindset. AI isn't about doing what you could do before, but doing more of it and doing it more often. AI is about doing the things you couldn't do before. Just having a summary of an issue to understand what actions you take, that's great. You know, you don't have to do the summarization yourself. You change that you save that time. But what would be more interesting would use AI to say, what could I have done better that I didn't do before? How could I have actually accelerated that and done it differently? How can I run all the information from my projects and start to find ways of optimizing projects, not just use it for summarization of those projects? Thinking about how all this works, that's what's going to give you your true digital transformation. Because at the moment, digital transformation seems to be all about using technology to do what we did before. If you can get into an AI mindset, this is about thinking about everything that you couldn't do before. And you see a lot of this carried on through society today. A lot of people starting to do different things with different technologies. We were talking before about the digital butterfly effect. I'm just going to finish with one story. I was telling a story to someone about self-drive cars. And on the back of this story about self-drive cars, I was in New York and met our communications officer from a hospital. And he said, yeah, because of self-drive cars, that's why we're investing so much in human cloning technology. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, he said, every day in America, 36 people die because they can't get donor organs. But 50% of our donor organs come from car crashes. So when the cars don't crash anymore, 50 people will die a day. So that's why we're looking to invest in human organ cloning. The person who invented the algorithm to self-drive cars never thought they'd have any effect on cloning humans. And that's what expanding your mind and thinking in a different way is all about. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your session today. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. I know I'm around. I'm meeting a few of you for lunch later, but enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dave Wright, thank you.